Think about the last time you dressed up and pretended to be someone else. Was it Halloween? Childhood? Why did you stop? Did your imagination shrink, or did you just decide to start wearing a suit and pretend to be an adult? This week, our special guest and cosplay extraordinaire Laura Mercer joins us to explain why she never stopped pretending and therefore never got boring. You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
Spencer here.
And I'm Laura.
Ooh, very nice. Guest-isode.
Guest-isode, and welcome, Laura, to the
Yes.
podcast.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like we said, we've got our guest here, and Laura Mercer is one we're excited to get. Now, Laura, what's your... so real quick, Laura is a cosplayer.
Yes, that's right.
And what is your cosplay name?
I go online by Kazul, and my cosplay name is just Kazplay. I mixed Kazul and cosplay and just sort of jammed it together.
Clever.
Okay,
And-
anyone who listens to the show knows we love word mashups, so
just cramming
it's
them
just
together.
really great.
All about that.
I liked it because it sounded like some southern woman trying to say cosplay with a
Kazplay.
really... Yeah, exactly.
You and your cosplay.
Your Nintenders and your Kazplay. I
That's
love that.
your video games.
Your
Video games.
Your
Video
video
games.
Yes, spot on. So we wanted to start off, we wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit, Laura. Tell us, what you do cosplay-wise, because you do something different than when I say cosplay, a lot of people will think you go
Dressing
to a
up like
convention.
anime characters or...
And Deadpool. That's like it. Like
Deadpool,
everyone's
yes.
Spandex
Deadpool.
and it's Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
so stupid.
Yeah, it's true though. You go to
It's
any
true.
con
It's
and there's
just
like
cheap.
35
50%
Deadpools.
Deadpool. At
Just
any
anywhere you
cosplay.
look.
And there's Deadpool cosplaying as other things, too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's, I understand the Deadpool thing. But no, my particular brand of cosplay is more centered around creatures and animals. Like, I've always loved animals and watching them move and walk around and seeing how their anatomy works. It's always fascinated me. That's part of the reason I wanted to be an animator. And I was that for 5 years. But in cosplay, like, I've always loved movie monsters and that kind of thing. So I've just been working towards building these creatures.
What's your favorite movie monster?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Really?
Yeah, there's so many
Do you have
good
one?
ones.
JD has one that he
No. I just thought like if I don't know. I didn't know if you had like a unique appreciation because you're building these cosplay costumes from scratch on your own.
Yes, that's. Yeah.
And I just didn't know if there are any out there that like any
Well,
costumes you really
I have some
appreciated.
top. Can
Let's
I
hear it.
list?
Yeah, oh,
list some
absolutely.
top. There's Pumpkinhead. Have you
Okay.
seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's older. That's a really cool creature.
Pumpkinhead.
And how they fit in there. Pan from Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go.
Samael from Hellboy. Those
Nice.
That's a good one.
those are some really.
Have
some of
you
my
made
top
any of
ones.
those costumes?
They're on my goal list.
They're on the
Wow.
list.
They're on my list.
Wow, finally up on the big board. That's super cool.
Yep, those are good ones.
Do you have any other big ones on that list that are like, what do you really want to do?
Yes.
Or is it proprietary? Like you don't want to tell anybody?
You don't have to tell us.
No, a
But
lot
please
of them
tell us.
are Blizzard specific things. Like I'm a
Ooh.
huge Blizzard gamer.
Yeah.
Hey,
like
who
a huge
isn't,
fan.
right?
That's right. If you're not a Blizzard gamer,
You
just
just
get out.
turn it off.
I think I've been like a Blizzard gamer since my childhood. Like it started with Warcraft 2
Oh,
forever
wow.
ago.
Oh yeah.
Old school.
So I've been playing it for a long time. So I love StarCraft. I love Warcraft. I would love to do a 2-person full, like really large Ultralisk from StarCraft.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a huge project.
Wow.
That's one. Like I also love Abathur. I'd love to figure out how to do Abathur and make him so he's like all goopy and has like pulsing
Like
things
actual pulsating things.
on his body, like
Oof.
really gross.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, these are ambitious projects.
These are so
Yeah.
cool.
Make it happen, and that would be incredible.
Yeah. Good thing I have my husband who's a good sport about this and also enjoys. So whenever I dress him up as things, he like totally gets into it with me.
Nice.
He makes an awesome Deadpool.
He's a great
He would
Deadpool.
never cosplay as Deadpool, but
Is there like a
It's
there
banned from their household.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
exactly.
what is
It's
the
just
what is the
cheap.
cosplay community's opinion on the Deadpool scenario?
well,
situation?
I think there's a lot of people who like fully embrace it. There's a lot of people who just sort of dismiss it and be like, oh, there's another Deadpool.
That's
Oh,
us.
you went as Deadpool.
And-
Good
Yeah.
call.
I think I'm
Clever.
in that camp.
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with anything better.
Like if you've met any Deadpool cosplayers, they all have the same attitude, and
Are you serious? That is
Well, I
so
mean,
funny.
well,
There's
like-
a type.
Yeah.
it's a type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a type.
And of course, they're playing the character, so
Yeah.
they're trying to be jerks
Yeah.
in character. So it's like they're just
Unbelievable.
not that pleasant to be around. I mean, it's kind of funny to observe, but yeah.
That's my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
We have to talk to all the stupid
Yeah, no, I'm
Deadpool
gonna
cosplayers. Hey, buddy, and go around and just trip people.
Yeah,
like, hey,
you're a
this
real
is what your
Deadpool.
character-
Oh, you're acting like a real
Idiot.
Deadpool right now.
Exactly.
So at this last BlizzCon, you were there.
I was there.
You were there. There was a big costume or a cosplay parade, competition on stage.
On the main
stage.
That's
At
right.
BlizzCon, which is huge.
Like
50,000
everyone's
people.
watching, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty much like every year they have a cosplay contest, and it's always a big thing. There's 100 contestants that it's actually really competitive to get in the contest in the first place. You have to be online and be part of the first 100 applicants to get in.
Wow.
Is it just open application? I thought there was not necessarily a tryout period like they have for the esports, but you can't just be a scrub off the street who's really good
Can't
at
be a
hitting
Deadpool.
F5 on your keyboard, right?
Actually, yeah,
I was just
Really?
Gonna say,
they're going to change that this next year. I've heard, but it's has just been first come first serve.
Wow,
Wow.
and you get all those great people even with that type of a metric.
Right. The BlizzCon community for cosplay is like so competitive and so talented. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
they were
most-
incredible.
The most like compact little group of super talented people ever. It's intense.
Yeah.
would you say there's a better community anywhere or like a different convention or Or
Not
is it
that
just
I've
kinda
found.
BlizzCon? It's just like-
BlizzCon is like a unique beast because
Yeah.
we're all so passionate about just a very few games. Up until a few years ago, there was only 3 games.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this really uniquely super passionate little group, and Blizzard's designs are such that they're so inspiring
Oh, yeah.
to many artists that it's great material to draw from.
The guy that
and-
did this, it just loves all the Blizzard stuff because
Yeah.
that's his style and he just loves that.
So
This, real quick, being the custom portrait that we have in the studio, because this is a podcast, we have the video on demand.
Oh, by the way, we're calling that, Jackson introduced me, the Vlodcast.
the Vlodcast.
I don't know why there's an L in there, actually.
How
It
about
should just be
vodcast?
vodcast,
There
but
you
nope,
go.
it's Vlodcast.
Oh,
because that's what he said. It's so stupid.
There you
like
go.
Vladimir
I
cast.
don't know.
Yeah.
But on our
Can we-
Vlodcast, you can see this fine poster that our dear friend Stephen Crow
Crow
designed.
Comics, very nice.
Yeah, and
Very
he
nice.
introduced us to like that Blizzard because he was showing off his portfolio at BlizzCon,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yeah, he
It's
was.
just so cool.
So you're at BlizzCon and you had this costume that you're Hogger. It's a Hogger costume, and it is so crazy.
Tell me what
in depth.
Hogger is.
So real quick, go check it out though on her YouTube. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I looked up her YouTube, and it shows she's got like the making videos, but like the final video, and you're like, wow, that's impressive.
Hit pause. How do we find your YouTube?
My YouTube is Kazplay videos.
That's
So,
KAZ.
KAZPLAY. You'll be able to find it.
Yep.
Like,
Kazplay.
there's a few Let's Play channels that had that name before that weren't very successful. I've like passed them. So if you
Get
search
outta
for
here.
Kazplay,
I love
it
that. You're
should
like,
be mostly
hey,
me.
You'll find me. Don't worry about it. You'll find me.
There's
Just
some
get
scrubs.
close.
You won't even see them.
Don't scroll down that far. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love
So
that.
I'm slowly taking over all the search results. But
So
yeah, I
yes.
have like all the behind the scenes, like really in depth of like exactly how I built the whole thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is pretty cool. I actually watched it. So tell us Hogger. We've got Hogger. We've
Hogger.
got Hogger's head here on the table.
A giant wolf head.
yeah.
He's actually a knoll.
A giant. No. Okay. God. Now.
Get it right.
You
I'm just gonna be
idiot,
quiet. I'm gonna be
JD.
quiet.
Well, I kind of sort of see him as like a were hyena. In
Yeah.
layman's terms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. He looks a little
Yeah,
crazy
to the common person, right?
to the layman.
Yeah. Where hyena.
But we know it as a knoll.
A knoll. So he's a kind of notorious named knoll figure because he's the first elite mob that you encounter in World of Warcraft when you start out leveling as a human. So he's the first elite mob. So you're doing all these quests, learning how to play, and you're like, oh, this is easy. I just got to go kill this one null.
Yeah.
This will be easy. And you go, and he's notoriously hard, and he just murdered lots of people. In fact, there's a stat in everyone's account that's like how many times you've been killed by Hogger.
Seriously?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome.
So it's and he's been in there since Vanilla WoW. So he's a beloved character that
Yeah.
everyone knows, everyone has been killed by, and so it was
That is
just
the
kind of like,
perfect choice.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Fun fact about Hogger, it was my first legendary Hearthstone card. And so I have I never played WoW. But my first legendary card in Hearthstone, so it's in like all of my decks. Even though like
It doesn't fit at all in half.
it
of
doesn't
them.
fit and
You
like
just have to have
all
it.
the new decks and stuff, it can easily beat it, and I'm like, no. He's going in.
He's a legendary. He's going
He's
in
my
that deck.
first legendary. We've got a connection.
he's
right.
got a bunch of cool voice lines in there too, or
Yep.
sounds that he makes.
Yeah, no, so it's fantastic. So you did that. You also you've got your YouTube with your cosplay, which is pretty successful. Like you've got a big following on YouTube.
It's been growing fast. It helped when I Hogger sort of went viral on the internet at some point. He was on the front page of Reddit and Imgur
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
for like a day, and so that was like crazy bunch of success there. But
That's cool.
Because it's awesome. Because you did a great job.
It
and
looks-
you
it
didn't,
looks
you didn't
incredible.
Deadpool it up. Like
Did
there-
you
this
use-
isn't by accident here.
Did you use actual wolf fur? Because it kind of looks like it.
no,
What is
it's
this
all
fur?
synthetic
It's
fur.
all synthetic.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You went and killed
Aw.
some sort of red fox and lined Hogger's head with that. That's what I'm seeing.
It
here.
was very luxury fur, so high end stuff, expensive.
Yeah, I'm
but-
sure.
Worth it.
I'm sure.
Like the stuff on his face, it's this special fur. It's the only place in the world that makes fur with a stretch backing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Whoa.
they sell it not by the yard but by the square foot. So
Wow.
I bought like a square foot for
Tell us.
$30.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah.
And
And
that,
then you're like
that
making
was that was
mistakes.
clearance. That was
Oh
the
my
clearance
gosh.
section. So it's normally like $60 to $100 for a custom run of.
So then I gotta
fur.
ask. So this full Hogger costume, how much does something like that cost to make?
Just materials.
Just
Yeah.
the materials. It was probably around $1,500.
Oh my gosh.
Dollars.
This is the
to
coolest
make.
thing ever. This is a full body costume.
It's incredible.
Yes, that's right. And it's more like a wearable puppet because the
yeah,
head
it's a
I
body
control
and a half, right?
by I control the head with a puppet. Like my head is inside his large hyena hump.
Yeah.
So cosplaying with puppeteering, is that a subset of cosplay, or is that just kind of like
It's just
Uh,
a thing.
just
It's kind of just a thing that like some people use it. Like with me with the creatures, like adding that element of puppetry really helps it give a lot of life. Like I mentioned, I'm an animator too.
yeah?
And so like bringing it to life and giving it all this extra motion was really important to me in this particular project. So, adding that puppeting element so that the mouth could move around so I could have that exaggerated hump and those exaggerated legs. Like the legs are puppets too. It's kind of like those walk around dinosaur costumes that you see.
Yeah.
So it's, it was a whole bunch of new things that I tried. This was my first puppet basically that I built.
I recently saw something that was explaining how the puppeteer works Big Bird and how
Oh,
he
yeah.
like switches his hand if he's doing different things, and he's like, oh, I'm using my right arm. Oh, I got to do his mouth with my left arm so I can use. And it's just like then it showed like the insides of it, and it's insane. Puppeteering is
Yeah.
nuts, and those
So,
guys are talented.
I did draw inspiration from Big Bird because
really?
he has like the one hand in the head.
Yeah.
But Hogger's head is more in front of me, so it was more like this.
Oh, okay.
Instead, but I could not switch arms. But
Yeah.
We don't
I
have a-
learned a lot of things building this one. So if I was to build him again, he would be like so much better and probably would be able to switch hands and have the hands.
Your Ultralisk is
Uh,
going to be awesome.
Yeah,
That's
there you
why.
go. Each
my
one I
God,
learn
That'd
like
be
so
crazy.
Wow.
much. I have to like level up with each costume.
You level up your skill.
Yep.
Your cosplay build, your costume building skill goes up by a point.
Yep.
I want to talk BlizzCon for a sec because I think so. We went to BlizzCon. It was my second. It was these guys' first BlizzCon last year, and you see all sorts of people. You see all sorts of things. Peterson saw this poor podcaster. Is that who did you see that you like freaked?
A poor
You
podcaster.
freaked out. You
You
poor
might-
because you went and assaulted. him.
Yeah, a poor guy, Jeff Kanata.
Jeff Kanata. You saw Jeff
from
Kanata.
DLC. We had
and
Christian
like, yeah,
Spicer on the
and
show.
Peterson
that's
goes like running across the floor. He's like,
No.
"Can I hug
No,
you?"
no, no. I sat there and looked at him for like a good 20 minutes, and I was like breathing heavy. My heart's pounding. I'm like, how do I go talk to him? I got to
Jeff's
get
like,
up
"Is
there.
this guy gonna
And I
murder
go up
yeah,
there, I'm
he's
like,
getting really uncomfortable.
Hey, buddy.
Here, guys.
Hey, whew, you're Jeff, right? Hey, you do a podcast. So do I.
So
Yeah.
there's all these things, but for me, nothing made us stop more or took our breath away more than the cosplayers. You guys,
the good ones. I guess that's the thing too. That's
I
so
feel like they're
impressive
all
about
good.
it.
I mean, there's these guys walking around in giant mech suits or like a diva thing, and you're just like, what the? Can you talk a little bit, because it seems like your experience at BlizzCon is just a world apart from anyone else that goes, whether it's press, whether it's enthusiasts, whether it's esports athletes. Can you talk a little bit about like what makes your experience at BlizzCon way more unique, other than what we see, which is walking around in a hot costume in
Oh,
downtown
right.
Anaheim?
It is very hot. Good thing it's in November when it's a little cooler.
Yeah.
But not much. Well, first of all, you have to dedicate, if you want to be in the costume contest, you have to dedicate all of Friday to the costume contest.
Oh, okay.
So
Just being on call, like waiting for your turn and different things
Kind
like
of.
that.
So we always go to opening ceremonies because that's where all the good stuff is announced.
Yeah.
So we stand in line, rush in, get a good seat for opening ceremonies. Usually we split up, like
And you're in costume here?
not
Not
here.
yet. Okay. Okay.
With my most cosplayers are in costume by this point because
Yeah.
they take like hours to get all the makeup and everything, all the armor strapped on. Mine takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get on, so it wasn't that bad. And it's hard to see in, so I wanted to take it in.
I wanted to
You're at
actually
BlizzCon,
see.
you want to see stuff.
Not just
Yeah.
to look good.
So me and my husband, we split. One of us goes to reserve a spot at opening ceremonies. One goes to check in for the contest. And then you get a time for a judging slot. So you have to go backstage to see the judges, and they'll one-on-one talk with you, look at your costume up close.
Are they
make
talking
the
with you in
marks.
character? Like you have to be Hogger?
If your voice isn't good, they're like, "Get out of here."
Yep.
No, but like I train my husband up. I'm like, here, tell them about all these things on the costume. Because like this BlizzCon, I got terribly sick and lost my voice.
Oh my goodness.
So, and it's all muffled in there anyway, so I couldn't talk at all. So I was in character.
She's really in character. That's
Yeah.
what they're thinking.
But you know, this year was my 5th year competing, so I kind of I've seen the judges before. I knew them. I've talked to them. I knew the process, so I was there. I was ready. I performed. I showed off how it moved. I let them see. They asked about particular materials that I used, and they'd been watching me for like 6 months
They
beforehand.
like follow your YouTube
Yeah,
and
they're
stuff.
like they had followed my YouTube, they had followed my
Wow.
Facebook,
That's so
all the progress,
cool.
and they asked me
Wow.
about different parts and the challenges that I
Awesome.
had. So you go and you talk to the judges. That takes hours, like because you kind of got to stand in line, and the judges like to talk a little longer.
Sure.
So
It sounds
they
like
always
they're
go
super
late.
big cosplay fans. Like
Yeah,
all these
they are.
judges. That's awesome.
They're like employees at Blizzard, 2 of them, and then they usually bring in a guest. And like one year, Glenn Hetrick was one of the guest judges. That's the guy on Face Off with the beard.
Oh.
Anyway, it was really neat to meet him. Anyways, so then after judging, you like get a chance to rest. They have like a little room that's like the Cospitality Lounge. They have
Nice.
Clever.
They
Word,
have-
word mashups.
I love the cosplay community so far.
so they have like a little room where they have snacks like fruit and popcorn and water and repair kits, super glue, Velcro,
Yeah.
safety pins.
That was the one of the funniest / weirdest things about BlizzCon is they had a guy.
It was
there a
Comic-Con. There was
Comic-Con.
a
Comic-Con.
guy walking around. He had like a big flag that said like cosplay
like
repair
repair doctor
and
or
Oh,
something
doctor,
like that.
cosplay doctor, and he had like all the tape and all the stuff.
All the
like,
different
hanging on it.
supplies, like it was. I mean, it was a thing, you know. So that's super interesting. So they had all that stuff kind of laid out for you guys
Yep.
backstage, kind
in
of.
the
In a
Cospitality
room.
Lounge.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
So, like, basically, you go like rest because you've just been in costume for several hours.
Oh.
Take a break. Then, like, you're in costume already, so you want to go please the crowd. So you go out, get pictures, and I've had the experience where I dressed my husband up last year, so I've got to observe what's happening and be able to see. and it's just like a circle of people. Like you just get a circle of people taking pictures.
Just
and they're
taking
like,
pictures.
Over here, you turn around. Over here.
Oh my
over
God.
here. You're just like turning 360, just like taking pictures. And it's just pictures all
For
the time.
hours.
For hours.
Not to focus on the negative, but in the Cosspitality Lounge, you had to have some crazy stories. Like, what's the craziest breakdown that you've seen in the Cosspitality Lounge?
Yeah, did
Like,
anyone's
there's a
costume,
lot
like,
of
fall apart.
there's a
and
lot
they
of
just had
pressure
a
back there,
meltdown?
right?
Yeah, I guarantee you.
There's a lot of that.
yeah.
Because cosplayers were kind of known to be procrastinators, and everyone like is finishing their costume
I did not know that.
in the hotel rooms, like putting
Nice.
the finishing touches on. And maybe some people, it's like the first time they've worn it, and they're like, "Oh man, this
No.
piece of armor is digging into my shoulder."
This is the first time they've worn it. And this is like the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, I'll put on my cleats later. Don't worry about that. Then you go there and you're like,
My cleats don't fit.
What is happening?
Wait, we're about to run
Yeah,
a play. I gotta put these on.
Yeah,
I gotta
hold
put my
hold
shoes
on
on.
for 1 minute.
Yeah, it's smart to try it on beforehand, but sometimes that doesn't.
Wait, have
happen.
you ever
get
done
busy.
that? Have you been that person?
I have not.
Okay.
Like, I
She
always.
is
Why do you think
professional.
she's like a good one?
Yeah.
A good cosplayer that they recognize.
Well, it sounded like she's like, guys, cut them some slack. Sometimes
They're not all as good as me.
There's a difference
Yeah, I
between being a
mean-
nice person and a scrub.
I
She's just
have
really nice.
I have worked on like put the final touches on them in the hotel room,
Sure.
like
Which is fair.
painting in my hotel room.
Oh my God.
So I usually bring like a big box of supplies just in case I have some big things to fix.
The hotel maid comes in and there's just like super glue and tufts
And
of
fur.
and paint everywhere. And
Fur
she's like, "What the
everywhere.
hell is
Yeah.
going on here?"
I hate this. I hate
I
this
hate
convention.
BlizzCon.
So it's I don't know, like after getting all the pictures, we have to be backstage. Like the costume contest doesn't start till like 6:30 or 7. We have to be backstage at 5 o'clock, and we have to sit backstage and get ready
Wow.
and like be there. And we just sit. We sit and talk. We geek out over each other's costumes, like
Yeah.
share building techniques and all sorts of stuff. So it's really fun. But it's kind of really unique because we don't get to see BlizzCon, but we're just like seeing each other. It's really like a little family that we
Yeah.
have because we have a Facebook group of BlizzCon cosplayers, and throughout the year we're
Nice.
sharing work in progress images. We're encouraging each other and just like building up this little community. And then it's like a family reunion. We're all backstage. Let's talk and have fun.
That's so cool. I feel so validated right now because I remember sitting at the costume contest this year. And I think you guys were both there, and I was clapping so loud because I felt like, do you remember that? I
Yeah.
was so pissed because I felt like some people would come out and their cosplay was like, and nobody would
And
clap.
no one would
This
say
is an
like
entire
cheer.
stage. No one would cheer. No, it's huge. And I'm like,
Cheaty was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what the- I'm looking around like, you
He's
assholes.
getting mad
You
at the people
assholes.
not clapping.
Clap louder because I
Yeah.
knew you guys put a lot of work. And now,
Oh, yeah.
knowing it's way more work than I thought it was, yeah. So if you're listening to this and you go to BlizzCon, clap for the cosplayers for Christ's sake.
Yep.
Oh,
If you ask for their picture,
you remember how salty I was?
Yeah, he got like so mad about it.
When
He
I
was-
see passionate people and they're not, ugh.
Yeah, anybody like that you see cosplaying, if you ask them like, "Can I take your picture?" or "Can I take a picture with you?" it'll make their day. It'll
Yeah.
make their convention.
Okay.
Like that's like so.
You're not bothering. I'm like, oh, another one. Just leave me alone. I'm
That-
trying to
they-
get to
Oh.
the main stage here.
Sometimes, like a lot of when I was in Hogger, when I'd be like, "Oh, can't stop for pictures. Sorry, you can take a picture on the go." Like I got to get to judging. Like
Nice.
sometimes
can't walk
they have
super
to,
fast in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have to beeline it, but
'Kay.
it'll still make their day.
Good to know.
This has been great. Thank you so much. I wish I
Yeah.
mean we have an episode's planned, but I think we could just interview for like an hour. Like this is so fascinating. We're gonna have to have you back on. But we want to move into our first segment, and this is one we like to do. It's called Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of a certain aspect of gaming. So this week we wanted to talk because we're all about game immersion, and that's kind of what cosplay is about. Is becoming
Yeah,
like
like
kind
you,
of
you find a game and a character, and you're like, I want to be that.
I want to be
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
And your description of Hogger, I mean, is perfect. Like this is
Yeah.
this is like the connection you have with him, with other gamers have with him. Like it's so great. So our good, the bad, and the ugly this week is living in a video game universe. So what is a good, bad, and ugly video game universe to live in?
And when we're just gonna kind of round robin this.
Yeah, we'll just
and-
round robin it.
So you want to start us off, JD?
Yes.
We're going good first, right?
Let's go good. Let's go good, bad, ugly.
'Kay.
I think that's a good order.
Yeah.
So, my good. This took me a minute, but when I realized it, I was like, "This is so perfect." It's almost cheating. Assassin's Creed. It's cheating. I would live in the Assassin's Creed universe because it's basically our universe, right?
Yeah,
But-
with the plague and with everything else modern that we've gotten rid of, right? I mean,
No, you're in a computer.
Yeah.
Right?
You're in
Well,
a computer.
you're
so,
like in the
so
game
let me
version
explain.
of it.
Let me
So-
explain. So
Okay.
this is how. Have you not played the games? The
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed games, really?
apparently, despite my ignorant comment, yes, I have played the Assassin's Creed games.
Okay, so for you guys that haven't, I'll give a brief explainer. The Assassin's Creed games feature this technology called an animus, which is a computer that reads your DNA and allows you to go relive, this is all hidden in your DNA, go relive the memories of your ancestors' past.
Right.
So, this obviously gets used for good and for evil, and the evil corporation wants to find people that are connected to their organization in the past, put them in this animus, and have them. And so that's why it makes sense as a game, because you can die, and it's not a real death. You've just died in the game, which obviously your ancestor didn't die at that point, so you have to restart and go do it again.
Super in-depth VR.
That's it. So basically, you
Yeah.
get to live a million lives. The world's like the same, and I mean, what I really thought was cool was that it's like anyone in Assassin's Creed, like every time like someone's like, "Oh, you have an assassin in your past" or whatever, the person's just like some average Joe, some average dude, and so like I could realistically see myself in that situation. And it's just basically I'm in the Assassin's Creed universe. I just get to lay in a chair and play the most realistic game ever made.
Well, that would
There
be
you
cool,
go.
except for I'd go in and be like, all right, guys, give me my animus pest. And they're like, a whole bunch of pig farmers. You want to go do that?
It's mostly
I'm
peasants.
like, I just,
Peasants.
fine, I'll go be a pig farmer. I got to go back once. This is going to
Playing
suck.
Larry.
And then I see JD like running around on top of buildings and stuff, going crazy. And I'm like, oh, man.
And I jump down and just kill you for no reason.
Yeah.
Just like an
Well, hey,
NPC.
don't kill my pigs.
Oh, no, you killed the pig. Another pig farmer.
Is this why my family died?
So who else has got a? Does anyone have a better universe that is? I want to hear some more good ones.
That's a pretty good one. So I'll
It's
go with
cheating.
mine. This is kind of cheating. So
Yeah.
I went with mine's kind of in the future. So I went with Mass Effect.
Cool,
And here's why. Because it's future humanity,
Mhm.
right? Where we have mastered the space travel and we have encountered other races and we are, kind of accepted as part of a
Galactic
galactic community, right? But the other cool thing is, it seems like Earth is in a pretty good place, right? We're not so much divided in terms of like race and nationality. It's now like, oh,
Well, we have
humans
aliens
versus
Yeah.
So like we've kind of bonded together. I mean, granted, some pretty crappy stuff happens to the humans during the games.
Reapers.
Yeah, so you don't want to be the colonists out on those fringe colonies. Those guys didn't fare too well. But that would be a cool universe to be in, because that's kind of what you like. Man, wouldn't that be cool if we had interaction with aliens, that we could travel in space? That
And
would be awesome.
Less of a bummer than Halo.
Less of
Because
a bummer
Earth
than
isn't being like constantly attacked by aliens.
Yeah.
Well,
like that.
it is at the start of Mass Effect 3. You're fighting in London.
Yeah, at Mass Effect
Really?
3, like
That's cool.
things have kind of
You're
gone
getting
south.
wiped
Yeah.
I thought I remembered the Assassin's Creed universe as something a little different than just like the super dope holodeck. Like you were kidnapped by Abstergo
Yeah.
to like forcefully do this. It
Yeah, but you
wasn't like
can. That's what he's saying. Like,
I didn't think you had like Assassin's
option?
Creed or
Dude,
arcades.
if an
You don't
evil-
know.
if an evil
I know.
corporation kidnapped you
in JD's
and injected
version,
you into a full body VR machine,
to
would
be
you
a-
be
to
that
a pig,
upset?
to be a pig farmer?
I'd be like, hey, guys, I think you got the wrong person.
yeah.
I'd be like, oh,
well,
hey,
you did
stop.
get
No,
that.
It
don't
smells
make me
real
play
bad
video
over
games for the
here.
rest of my life. No. Kaz,
All right.
how about you? Do you have any good, what's your good video game universe?
Definitely the World of Warcraft.
Nailed
Like,
it.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I like.
That's
How could you expect anything
Low-hanging
else?
fruit.
Yep.
Right?
Is that yours too, Spencer?
It was again kind of knowing that Laura would go there and really do that justice. I shifted, and this is a new thing for me because this is a brand new universe for me as of a couple months ago.
Wait. We got to talk Laura's first, though.
Okay, well go ahead.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let's
World
hear
of
why.
Warcraft. Like, I would really love to kind of go live the path of my character that I've been doing.
What's your character?
Oh.
I'm a frost mage.
Ooh.
So go study with the Kirin Tor. Go learn how to do icy magic. I think it would be really
It would
neat.
be cool, but again, I'd be afraid I'd be like the pig farmer MP.
You'd be a
NPC.
level 1 boar.
I'd be, I'd be a chicken or something. Yeah.
Well,
killed by
that
level
how-
1
I'd be,
guys.
That's the great thing about the World of
It'd be
Warcraft is
murky.
there's like so many heroes in it.
Yeah.
Like to go fight all the enemies that want to destroy Azeroth.
Yeah, but Peterson's just one too many. He's the one on the out. That I mean, people have to play the NPCs, right? At some point.
Someone's got to be an NPC.
Someone's got to
Someone's
get
gotta be the
slaughtered.
NPC.
Oh, jeez.
Peterson.
by level
Oh,
1
gee.
toon.
Someone's got to be a Murloc.
That's right. So mine, again, kind of shifting gears a little bit, would be the Monster Hunter universe. You're basically these group of people that just go colonize all these different new continents and stuff like that, live off the land. It's just like the super dope camping trip, and you get to make a tent out of this monster that just tried to eat you. So
That's like the most.
mean-
That's so inaccurate because Spencer, like, be
that's
honest.
so inaccurate.
Be honest. The reason you want to live in the Monster Hunter universe is because you could have a sword that was twice as long as your body.
And a
That's
cat
part of
pet that cooks you food.
Mine would be a dog.
Nope. That's not the Monster Hunter universe. It's a cat. You want a cat pet. You really want a cat. I don't know
I
why
think
you
it's
have
all about the
dogs.
gigantic swords.
The gigantic sword. He wants to go commit genocide on monsters
Yeah.
that are just living their lives in this. He wants to go invade their space and just start murdering them.
Spencer is
For
the
parts.
Teddy Roosevelt. of
Murdering
video
them for
games.
parts.
I don't know. I would want to go get a meal from the Meowscular chef.
Okay. Hey.
That would be awesome.
That
gets
part
it.
would be cool. The slaughtering the innocent reptilian monsters.
Hey, where did the chefs get their meat? They got to come from somewhere, right? if you didn't want to eat them, why are they made out of meat, John?
This morning there was a spider in my bathroom, and I was like, okay, well, I'll take it and put it outside. And then I realized it was cold outside, so I just left it. So Monster Hunter is not really my game.
You didn't kill. I know spiders. I would kill. If there's spider monsters, I'm in.
Yeah.
No,
Like, I
dude,
gotta rid the
don't
world of
kill
these
animals
things.
at all across the board. It freaks me out. Like, what authority do I have to end some bug's life?
You're bigger than it, and you're human. So
If it was bigger than you, it would kill you.
yeah.
That's what we're dealing with in Monster Hunter here. You're
I
not
have-
like walking around and like the monsters are having scholarly discussions about philosophy and existentialism.
They see you and they're like,
They're like, oh, that looks good.
I'm gonna kill that.
They all have like culture and civilization.
Spencer's like,
killing these dumb animals. They're like, no, they're not animals. I'm killing all the
gotta
animals.
get him.
Yeah, we're not doing monster existentialism.
This is
here.
the Montezuma simulator
Yep.
Spencer's playing.
I got a really bad one.
Are we going bad now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone-
GBU.
Yeah.
I think this is the worst because I'm thinking. So in my, I don't know if you guys know this. My game, my life goal is to live forever. That's like my thing.
That sounds awful. Keep
Wow,
going.
Live
Yeah.
forever, yeah. Never die. Rule in hell. So one of the things is this. My first thought was like, what game universe would I not die immediately in? And so that's kind of how I came to Assassin's Creed. And so the exact opposite of what game universe would I die immediately in? And that is Gears of War.
You would
Wow.
just die immediately.
Gears of War.
Brutal.
I
Yep.
mean, the planet is called Sarah, which is an anagram for Ares, which is the god of war. And if you guys, this is nuts. I blew my mind last night because I have not only played all the Gears of War games, I've read all the books and the graphic novels. Like, I'm that
Oh, okay.
weird guy. And I did not know that there was a war that took place before the war that took place before the first game. So there
It's
is
just a real bad situation.
so
Most
but
people
get this.
didn't.
So there's a war between like everyone on Earth or on Sarah, and then they work that out, and then they're like, for a couple like 20, 30 years, like everything's great, and then they had another war over. It was like a resource war that lasted for like 80 years, and then right after that one ended, like 2 years later, this like random horde of monsters emerged from the Earth that they'd never seen before. And then they kill all those through the first 3 games. You get rid of all those. And then those 20 years later, those creatures morph into another creature that you have to kill. And it is just like this. So it's
just
just
like this endless yeah.
war. You know, For Honor, you know, the stupid cinematic in For
Yeah,
Honor?
it's that.
It's that. But they try a little bit harder for the story. Not that much harder, just a little
Just
bit
a
harder.
little bit hard. Well,
and it just seems
yeah.
like an awful hellscape where it is a planet that is just war. That's all that happens is war. And I'm like, what do you if there's nothing but war, what are you even fighting the war for? You're not trying to save anything because you're just getting
You're just like killing to kill and fighting to fight.
yeah.
I guess. Like that's what you do. That's what you do.
You
All
just-
right. Yeah, that
that's-
would
that's-
suck.
Yeah, so
I can agree with
just
that.
war
Be
just seems
pretty
depressing.
bad.
Yeah.
What you got, Spencer?
Lateral step to JD's in the Warhammer, wars again in the title, their tagline in the far distant future ... there is only war. Like people are fighting just
This
to
is
fight.
Warhammer 40K?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are fighting, not just people, but everybody's fighting just to fight. Like it just sounds horrible. It's great to
It's
play
a
it.
good video game.
When there's lots of like soldiers and stuff, so there's just lots of like cannon fodder and just lots of war.
No real good guys. Like it's just that's the other part of the tagline too. In the grim darkness of the future, there's only war. Like it's just horrible.
Yeah, that sounds. That's just like built in bad.
Yeah,
All right,
not a fun place to live.
let's go to Laura.
Okay, mine is actually one of my favorite games of all time, but I would never want to live there.
Yeah, bad worlds make good games.
Yep.
Right, Bloodborne.
Ooh.
Have you played
Oh,
this
all
game?
right. I have not played it. Fill us in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us a primer.
Bloodborne is a horror game, but it's more of like Lovecraftian horror.
Mhm.
Oh, so
So-
OG horror.
OG horror. It's set in like this kind of gothic era setting, and you're a hunter. You're doomed to eternally walk this nightmare, waking up in the hunter's dream when you die, having to go back out to fight monsters, people who have gone insane, gone mad. So your choices are either like stay out and go mad and turn into a monster, or keep fighting eternally and keep dying over and over and over again.
Ugh. That's
and
pretty
so,
bad.
but it's like
Just grim and
Horrible
ugh.
treadmill.
it
Yeah.
is, and like it's a beautiful world, like in a gross, creepy sort of way.
Yeah.
But it's just so dark, and like the more you learn about the world, like in that Lovecraft
Yeah.
fashion, the more you learn, the more depressed you get. So it's like,
Yeah, there's no good there. There's no
Yeah.
good.
but it's
That's
so
pretty
beautiful.
bad.
I want to do some cosplays from that really bad.
There's some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So mine was, I guess, a little bit different. I'm surprised. I wrote 2 and scratched one off.
Mhm.
I scratched off Fallout. I'm surprised no one said Fallout. That would suck. But I
I
think it
put
would suck.
Fallout in ugly because there are benefits.
Can't really like
You
walk
can
around too
enslave
much.
people.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
There we go. He doesn't want to kill a spider, but enslaving a person, meh.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
so
people,
I
no
picked.
value to me.
I picked Grand Theft Auto.
Which
Here's why.
do you
It's-
have?
I didn't pick a
Because
specific
neither
one.
of you have either played those.
Yeah,
games,
I have.
you?
I have played some of 2 of them.
Which ones?
I don't even remember the names of them. It was a long time ago. But listen.
Part 2 of part
I'm
3.
driving to work.
give you one part.
I'm driving to work, and some douchebag comes in. He launches. There's a helicopter flying around. It's a police helicopter. All of a sudden, a missile launcher goes off right next to me, blows it up. It starts crashing. He comes, opens my car door, throws me on the ground, and takes my car and leaves. That would be a regular occurrence in the Grand Theft Auto world.
And in the
That's
Grand
like-
Theft Auto world,
That's like what
because
happens.
A lot of the games they have at most like 20 different civilian models. So there'd be so many Petersons dying.
So many Petersons.
all the
And
time.
so this bastard eventually gets caught, and then what happens? Like a few days later, he's out standing outside the
the
courthouse
cops
or
took
whatever.
all his weapons. He's fine.
And
He's
then he
fine.
immediately he needs some sort of vehicle to get around. He doesn't want to run. I'm driving by and like, hey,
Just
I recognize
trying to
that
go to
guy in
work.
my new car.
Hey, it's that
He
guy
runs
again.
over, punches me in the face, takes my car and drives off, like crashes into lots of people on his way out. That's what would happen.
And no, the police in Grand Theft Auto, if you ever watch their interactions with the other NPCs, if an NPC accidentally dings their car, they'll come over and shoot him, just execute it. So,
Yeah, like,
so the
it'd be
police
so-
do not enforce the laws for that guy, but if you bump a police
But if
car, you are dead.
Like immediately. That's I do not want to live in the Grand Theft Auto universe. It would be bad. it would be terrible. So I'm out on that.
I love that we discovered that Peterson is every nameless, faceless,
Yeah, we're like,
useless
what
NPC
what
in
universe
all the games.
would you live in? And Spencer's like, oh, I'd be in Monster Hunter with a
I'd be
giant
in-
sword,
I'd be
destroying
swinging
the
a
world.
sword,
And
I'm like,
Peterson's like,
No.
I'm just driving to work in my $50K a year job, co-owning a bed and breakfast with the devil. Like, Peterson's like richest fantasy world.
Look, I
farmer.
didn't.
Realistic
I didn't
expectations.
saying what my fantasy would be. I'm saying if I was living in this world, would I be the big going ham guy? No. Would I be the criminal stealing the cars? No.
No.
I'd be just reggy old
Little guy
Peterson.
getting killed.
Getting I'd be the
carjacked.
reggy pig farmer, getting my pig
Getting
slaughtered.
assassinated.
Yeah,
At least we know where Peterson's self-worth is at right now.
just a real
Bottom
normal,
of the barrel.
real normal.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
real average.
Pig farming carjack victim.
Outstandingly average.
So for ugly, this one I thought this one is kind of it fits in the same universe as Fallout, but I'm like, if I'm gonna be in like a fucked up universe and everything's gonna be screwed up, I want to be somewhere I can have a little fun. And for me, it's Rapture from BioShock.
Ooh,
So
jeez.
BioShock is a city. There is this game that takes place in an underwater city that was built in the 50s by this like rich industrialist. It's that wanted to get away from the world, and he imported all the best and brightest minds. And of course, everything went to shit.
Things went south.
But I mean, BioShock's Rapture would be fun. At least it's just like a wild trip. You're just doing drugs all the time, messing with your own genes, splicing in cool abilities to your own like genetic code, and
No one was happy down there. Like,
No one.
I,
Yeah, it's not like a real positive place.
Yeah,
It would
that's
be
why
pretty
it's ugly.
Yeah,
it's pretty ugly.
because there are it
Bad
does look
ugly.
beautiful.
But you could
In some
rule, you
places
could
of
rule
it.
this place if you could keep your sanity. You could rule Rapture. That's kind of the shtick, is that all the people in BioShock 1 and 2 that are in charge and running things are the ones that have retained at least a modicum of their sanity.
And you think you could do that?
if I couldn't, I'd get to go crazy.
You'd just be
so
crazy.
It's win-win.
You'd just be
I get
a
to be
mindless,
crazy.
like, yeah, okay.
I'm doing drugs all the time.
It would
so-
be ugly.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
me. Ugly.
That would be pretty ugly. All right, Laura, what do you got?
I don't have a very good one for this one, but for ugly, I was thinking more along lines of ugly art assets. that
Like
I didn't
aesthetically ugly?
No,
Yeah.
we do not have a rigid set for this.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
hear it.
yeah.
and also it'd be pretty ugly for me. Guitar Hero.
Oh my god. That would be super ugly.
The endless concert.
The endless concert, the people doing the
Yeah,
same,
yeah.
the same animations.
I would not be the guy on stage. I'd be in the audience doing just like pumping my fist the whole time. Like, man, my arm
But,
is
like,
tired.
Even if I was the person on stage, I would be the one like, blink, blink,
And everyone's booing you.
yeah.
Hey, at least you get to boo people, Peterson.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
boo
the
the
booing
crap
guy.
out of people. I'll start the boo.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Oh my gosh.
In Guitar Hero 3, you go play in a prison a la Johnny Cash, and that's Peterson. He would be one of the inmates
No, I would not be an
in
inmate.
Guitar Hero 3.
Peterson is generic
Just
concert goer number 2. Just totally useless.
just
Wow.
pumping that fist and booing people.
Yeah.
What about you, Spencer?
Oh boy. Well, there's some good ones there. I don't really want to follow that act. Ugly for me, I actually went with StarCraft, kind of staying on point. Like there's some I kind of following along on JD's thing in terms of the logic, but completely different take on it. Like there's some kind of fun things you could do in the universe, but ultimately the place is a drag. Like there's not a lot of great stuff to do other than do war stuff. There's like some good people, quote unquote, but ultimately it's just kind of a mess. So again,
Well, and
it's
there's a lot
ugly.
of human infighting.
Yeah.
Like trying to do coups and stuff, and
yeah.
that wouldn't be very fun.
So
And all the colonists on different planets getting attacked by Zerg.
Just
and
like all the time,
Not
you're like,
great.
well,
Not
here
pretty.
it comes again.
getting
Yep.
infested.
We moved to this planet because our last one got attacked by Zerg, and here we go.
I wouldn't necessarily go the farming route, but
You would.
I would not.
What would you be then? You'd be Tychus.
They still have tobacco farmers, ostensibly.
I mean,
which
yeah.
the
sure.
future changes, but not that much.
Yeah. No.
That's the one also thread of this whole episode, right? No matter what universe you go, there's a spot for John Peterson. Like no matter
And
what.
it's the
Nailed
saddest
it.
spot.
So here's my ugly, and I went with a game that I talk all the time, play all the time, PUBG. And here's why.
Goodbye.
Here's
I'm
why.
done. This has been a great show.
What are you, the
I'm like,
airplane?
okay,
Laura's
no,
great.
I'm going
Thank
into
you
He's
the
so
airplane
much.
pilot.
I'm going
He
into the
just flies in a
PUBG
straight
universe.
line.
Next thing you know, you wake up on an island in your undies.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You're like,
you're gonna get dropped
Why?
on the stupid plane.
It's the loading. It's the loading.
Oh, the loading.
So you wake up,
Excuse
you're
me.
on an island with a bunch of people. Half of them are saying some sort of ethnic slur, and
And
some
you're
of them
also
are.
invincible.
And I'm in my undies.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's why it's ugly. That's pretty bad
This
itself.
is pretty standard stuff.
But then
for
I think I would actually survive pretty well because I've got a 4-step plan for survival on the island.
Well, don't give him a whole
I'm not
part.
going to tell you
Don't
the
tell
plan
me
because
all
you'll
the
use it.
parts.
I'll tell you part 3.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 3 of part 2, which is I need all the pans. Okay, I won't tell you any more than that, but I need as many pans as I can get.
create like I get a fishing.
I'm not going
line.
to tell you.
Well, how do we know if you actually have the full plan?
But if I tell you the plan, you'll
You'll
steal
just
it.
steal it.
Yeah, and then 2 people can't do this plan. Trust me.
Okay.
So, but here's the problem. I would find a guy to team up with. Let's just name him Steven. I don't know. Let's name him Stephen Lee. And this idiot would inevitably run me over with a car. Talking to you, Stephen Lee.
This whole thing's just so you can drag Stephen Lee on the podcast.
He always kills me in the vehicles. I would be doing great. I'd be like, you know what? I might actually survive this. Nope. Motorcycle over the back of my head. Stephen Lee.
Peterson started playing with Steven's your friend, right? One of
Yeah.
your friends. He started playing PUBG with Stephen Lee, who's one of Spencer's friends, because they both have this like horrific addiction
Yeah.
to PUBG. So Stephen Lee is Peterson's PUBG enabler
That's the perfect term for it.
that apparently runs you over.
He always kills me in the cars. Always. It's like we'll get in a car and we'll be like, "Oh crap, Steven's driving. Stop so we can get out because I'm
Who
going to die."
killed Spencer with a boat.
That's what I say, dude. You ran me over with a boat.
You deserved it.
Yeah, I deserved
should have
it.
been standing there.
Yeah, what are you doing swimming around my boat?
I deserved it. What a
Boat
mess.
safety.
Oh man, so
Ugly.
let's move on.
Ugly.
That was good. I like that segment. Let's talk about gaming associations.
So this is like, when you're gaming, we're talking about immersion, right?
Yeah.
This is you like you getting immersed into the game and you've got some sort of association. Something you're doing during the game that when you do 5 years later,
You think about that game.
you think about that game.
Yeah.
I've got one of those.
Let's hear it.
So back in my college days,
Oh boy.
at college, so remember how we talked about me playing StarCraft in the computer lab?
Installing it on all the
This was
library computers.
this was before I found out I could play StarCraft on the library computers. I was playing a game called RuneScape. Because it's a browser type of game,
Yeah.
right? And so I was like, I could play this on the computers. But it was also during the prime time of like downloading music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like downloading music and
Off of
also
LimeWire.
yeah,
Napster.
LimeWire. So I download LimeWire and then I would actually download off of that. But I would find my music. You guys are gonna die. So remember MySpace?
Yeah.
So this was MySpace days.
Yeah.
When you built like a big thing was like finding
page.
bands and stuff. And so like
That's what MySpace was for originally.
I'd go find bands, and so one of the groups I found, and they're a popular group, but I just started getting into them because of MySpace, was something corporate, and so I would listen to that while I was playing RuneScape. Now,
Okay,
every
okay.
time any of those songs come on,
You think about
I
RuneScape.
immediately picture my guy running around in RuneScape.
Oh my god.
Well, anytime you boot up your MySpace page too, right? Like you got to keep it fresh.
Do you have like an
Right?
autoplay something corporate song on your MySpace?
Yeah, no,
So-
it's now a MySpace mix that I have.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like, this
It's
is
evolved over. That's great.
from the
That's
MySpace
great.
days. So that's my association. I'm listening to something corporate, which I don't even listen to that often, RuneScape, every time.
MySpace is still around. And it's like got a resurgence as like a music community now, but there is a guy out there. There's got to be at least 100 people that just never stopped using it
Just
for
kept-
its intended purposes.
Just kept using
and they
MySpace.
just kept using it through all the redesigns, and everyone kept dropping off. But there's still like those guys that are like,
I'm not going to
you
Facebook.
can find me on MySpace.
I want to meet that guy.
Yeah.
I legit want to meet that
MySpace,
person.
the company knows who those guys are. They know where they live. And they're
Wow.
like, what is wrong with these guys? Just stop
Even we don't
using
like
it.
this platform.
Using it.
So that's mine. Do you have one, Spencer?
Yeah, it's not MySpace.
And mine wasn't MySpace either.
MySpace doesn't trigger anything for me. Nothing.
So what do you think of when you go to MySpace?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
What are you
Yeah.
thinking about?
Mine was a little bit more visceral than, again, MySpace. It's like the weather and certain times of year remind me of certain games.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So specifically, and then lately it's been the Division. Like anytime it's like cold and snowy out, we just had a huge snowstorm in
Yeah.
Salt Lake, and you boot up a cold game when you're doing that. It's like, oh man, you get really into it.
Yep.
I will never forget the feeling when I first got Gears of War, the very first one. It came out in November. It was a cold, snowy day, and just booting that up. So now when I play games in the fall, you just kind of have that Gears of War feeling.
That's fair.
So different times a year for different things, and yeah, weather and time for me.
Laura, how about you?
Well, back when I was young, this is like this the smell of cardboard microwave pizza.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That takes me way back to my childhood.
Pre or
when-
post MySpace?
When my parents would go on a date, they'd be like, "Okay, kids, you can have the pizza in the freezer."
Like those Totino's ones, those little
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah,
Oh.
and
So
so
good.
we'd always get those, and we'd get on the computer. We had a Super Nintendo emulator, and we'd play this one game called Evo. It's like you start out as a little fish, and you eat other fish until you get enough points.
Oh,
to
I think I
evolve.
know. I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So like every time like I smell that pizza,
Yeah.
microwave pizza smell, I just go straight back to that and be like, man, I want to play that game. I want to go eat all the little squid and,
That's awesome.
and play that game. I mean, and like I even remember the music, and then it gets stuck in my head. And
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, you
Yeah.
totally takes you back completely. JD, what do you got?
Mine are like compared to you guys, like mine are kind of shitty. Like honestly, like mine
Worse
are all,
than MySpace?
Mine
let's-
wasn't MySpace.
Let's set
It was
the bar
something
here.
corporate, not MySpace.
Like, so you guys know I'm obsessed with Dreamcast, and it's my
Yeah.
favorite console ever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what I'm doing when I boot that up, when I pull it out, and I have to pull it out because the cords on the controllers aren't long enough to get to my TV. And whenever I bust that out, it does not matter what game I'm putting in. I think of one game and one game only, and it's San Francisco Rush 2049. And I used to play it with Jackson and Trent and David, and who's an old buddy of mine, and we would play the 4-player mode into the wee hours of the morning in my parents' basement. Like, I'm talking like we would start playing like poker, because we used to have poker nights. We'd play poker at like 10 until like 12 or 1 when we got tired of it. And then we'd play San Francisco Rush 4-player.
You get tired of poker after? Oh man.
Yeah, this poker's boring.
Nope,
Let's
I
boot
go
up a
all
Dreamcast
night
game.
long.
3 hours? Well, because we knew this game was coming up
You
next.
knew what was up. You
Yeah,
knew
and it's
what
just
was
like we. But the
on
thing is, we
deck.
didn't do rush. We didn't do racing. We didn't do anything. We didn't do the battle mode. We did one mode on one map,
Oh my god.
and it's stunt mode on
Sure,
the disco
yeah.
map. And the thing is that's so funny about this is the stunt mode was not like a huge focus of this game. It was not intended to be like the end game content, but that's what it is for us. It's you're driving these very fast cars, and they have wings, and you just go off jumps that are scattered all around this map, and then you turn your car you have to extend your wings, and then you can spin, and then you try to land on your wheels, and if you don't land on your wheels, you explode.
Who's landed the
Full stop.
dopest trick?
So
Who was the best?
It doesn't. The thing is that this game is so stupid, is because it is almost entirely random. Are you familiar with this game?
no, I'm not.
It's just like you could throw a trick and spin your car 10 times and land funny and get like 10,000 points, or do the same exact thing and get 40, or do the like. It's just it's,
Like you couldn't crack the code.
we have been playing this game for a decade plus and
Can't figure
still
it out.
don't know. So the trick
Baffled.
is, the reason what you do is you just get your car going as fast as you can, go for a jump, spin it, and then you just pray.
He's just like,
That's
come on,
all you do.
Come on, give
And
me
for
some
some
gun.
reason, this game speaks to us. And so Dreamcast is, I think, the best console ever made. I think it's got, an amazing library of games. And I love when I feel the controller in my hand, like I'm home. But all that doesn't matter, because there's one map, one mode in San Francisco Rush 2049.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what San Francisco Rush 2049 is.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, mine are all just like mostly just to do with games. Like Gears of War, I think of with Jeff. Jeff and I have played through the co-op of all the Gears of War games, and we used to do what we call a Gears Day. Like we'd all like we'd go to his house or my house, and we'd sit and just try to beat the whole campaign co-op on like the hardest difficulty in a day. and that's like what we always did. So like when I play Gears of War, that's like what I'm always thinking. So that's just kind of how all mine are. But you guys had some. I don't like those. Yours are way better.
Totino's pizza. Man,
Yeah,
that's a
like
good one.
smelling a pizza. And
my
then be
kids
like,
always make that too, and so man, I would just be.
they're they made them
throwback all the
smaller
time.
now, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they're square.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
I
Square
hate-
pizza. Come on.
Make America.
Get outta
make
here.
Pizza round again. Okay. Do you want to do it? Do we have time?
Let's do the quick version.
Okay.
So we wanted to, as just as our parting gift to Laura, we wanted to make some really great cosplay suggestions for you.
I'm looking forward to it. Bring them
Get
on.
your notebook out because these are gonna be
No,
good.
these are cosplay suggestions that you should not do. That's the
Horrible cosplay
bad
suggestions.
cosplay suggestion.
You're already
Okay.
doing a great job. This would only make it worse.
So my suggestion, I went with a Blizzard one. You're gonna do the Lost Viking, just one of them, just you,
Just one.
Lost Viking walking around. So you're walking around the convention, just one Viking, and don't be like one of the ones where you can really tell. Oh yeah, that's one of the Lost Vikings, like the middle-sized one. Not the big, short guy with the big red beard or
Generic
the big fat guy.
Viking.
Generic Viking. Just walk around and people be like, the heck? And be like, oh, I'm Lost Viking. And they'll be like, aren't there 3 of you? No, I
There you
just have
go.
one.
Even better, do the pajama skin from Heroes of the Storm.
Oh my gosh.
With the butt
Pajama
flap?
Viking with the
Noise.
butt flap.
So you're just a Viking running around in pajamas. Everyone's like, "What the hell are you?"
What is this?
Exactly.
People would know BlizzCon is the problem. Like you can't hide there.
Oh yeah, at BlizzCon they'd be like,
But just being
"That
one,
is a deep track." I
just
like
being
that.
one of the Vikings though is kind of disappointing.
Like 1 year at BlizzCon, somebody cosplayed as the training dummy.
Oh
One
my
of the dummies in the
gosh.
game that you
Yep.
hit. Somebody was a mailbox 1 year. Somebody was a mage table another year. So yeah, they would get all those
It gets
obscure
real
references.
obscure.
Well,
Sucks.
here's what I'd like to see if they could get. You guys remember the original Pokemon game? Remember they only had 6 symbols for like the different types of Pokemon? So
Yeah.
all the bird Pokemon just had that one bird symbol, and all the I found them like in all the
Yes. I
these-
remember.
So just goes one of these.
Just go as a Pokemon
They were
symbol.
like, yeah. Well, one of the symbols like the original ones, and they're like, "What are you?" Be like, "Oh, I'm a Pokemon." They're like,
What?
"No, you're not."
What?
Like I'm a bird Pokemon.
A bird Pokemon, obviously.
Dur.
They'd be like, I don't.
Like what? I'm a bug Pokemon.
And then they just walk away and be like, "Ugh,
God, I hate you.
They'd still take your picture because she would nail
you'd be
it.
dressed up. Yeah.
Be
Do,
good.
do you know the Missing No from the original games?
If people cosplayed that,
Yeah.
oh,
It's basically like a cardboard box that they paint on,
I
but
was just gonna say the other
it looks
suggestion
awesome.
was the long piece from Tetris.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome.
The long piece from Tetris.
Four
What would be-
squares.
What would be even better? Like I'm making your suggestions better.
I
Yeah.
know.
Do a
Yeah,
flash.
She's like into this.
she's
do
like-
do a flash mob where you get like 20 people, all different shapes. And
That
just
would
go,
be
like,
cool.
Run
Yeah.
into a public area and
Just
assemble
run
yourself.
in and do
Make
a
a Tetris
quick
game.
Tetris game.
Yep.
Wow.
And then once you all connect in a line, you'll just collapse.
Exactly.
God.
We're done.
That'd be cool.
Now I want to go to Comic-Con as a freaking long piece from
Yeah.
Tetris. I'm like, I'll find a long box,
Yeah, just like
draw
draw 4 segments
3
on
lines,
it. Yeah,
and just
just walk around.
The long piece of Tetris not sponsored by the 3-Bit Gamer Show.
I'm going to
So
put our
I
name
had
on it.
one more, but
all mine. I mean, again, like it's tough to do bad cosplay at BlizzCon, especially with the group and the setting. But I would just go if you really wanted to screw it up. Go as like a League of Legends character.
at
Go to
BlizzCon,
BlizzCon.
Oh
hey
my
guys,
God.
guys, come on! Like
go
we're
as
doing
Oriana's
cosplay.
Like-
ball.
I don't
Yep.
know. Maybe a Dota one
Yes.
would be more like
offensive.
more like a stab in the heart to everyone at
Oh my
BlizzCon.
Yeah,
What
what
is
is
like-
like walking
know.
around?
Yeah, is there like what is the biggest ripoff Dota character from Warcraft 3? You go as that one. So
You do-
like Pudge or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People would hate
People
you.
are like, what the
Get out of
fuck?
here.
Get out of here. Get
I had a really bad one that no one should ever do. Diglett. He's a Pokemon.
What's with the Pokemon theme here?
Just look him up. You'll know.
He's the little mole character. It's just stupid.
He's the little phallic mole character.
Don't
Don't dress up as Diglett.
Don't dress up as Diglett.
Have you seen those artist interpretations of what's underneath?
Yes, and it is disturbing.
Oh my
Like buff
Okay, so
Diglett.
I have seen a cosplay like this. The buff Diglett. I saw a cosplay of that. It was just some ripped dude in a Speedo
Oh
with a
my
little
gosh.
Diglett head over his
No.
head.
No.
Yeah, if you You guys should Google this. Just
no,
Google
I'm putting this
like
on our blog post
whatever
for this
whatever
episode.
random thing. Like Google it and add cosplay at the end. You'll find
It'll
some
be
gems.
there. That's awesome.
Well, make sure
yeah.
you keep the safe search on when you do that, though, right?
No, maybe don't. All right, well, that does it for us this week. Thanks, a huge thanks to our guest, Laura Mercer. Look her up on YouTube or just Google Kazplay.
She's on Twitter.
K-A-Z.
I'm on KAZPLAY. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt.
Start with Google
everything.
and then choose your
Platform of
preferred
choice.
platform.
Yeah,
She's
you
everywhere.
can
Go
go
do
to
the YouTube videos.
you can
Those
go
are
to
awesome.
Kazplay.com
Yeah,
and
there you
find all
go.
my links there.
Kazplay.com. Oh my God. Well, and we will link to that on our blog and our social media, so you can check it out if you're interested. To play us out, we have the theme from World of Warcraft.
Very nice
Oh, we haven't done that one yet, have
and
It's
fitting.
really weird. And
Yeah.
you know what? And it's because I was scared that there wasn't like one overarching theme and that
okay.
I would sound like a dummy. So
There are several
we?
themes.
Then Spencer
but
would
we'll-
yell at you.
yeah, I actually cleared it with him before I said that. I was like, "Is there just one theme, or we're gonna make fun of me?"
Yeah.
So we got the
All right.
theme from WoW. All right, hey, make sure if you listen to us to rate and subscribe our podcast. We
Keep it
we have
going.
a lot of listeners, but not that many ratings on iTunes.
Yeah, go in and do the
So
rating.
feel free to do that.
But do
Oh.
the 5-star ratings. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't
if
worry
you-
about the other ratings.
Yeah.
Just do the 5
Just
star.
click
We'll
the
be
fifth
all right.
star. Just click that fifth one.
Yep.
Don't click the other ones.
Nope.
Yeah.
The other ones are stupid.
All right, and if you're still listening, if you're still paying attention, there's a bonus because we're doing a quick giveaway.
Wow.
Oh.
Quick
a
away.
quick giveaway. Peterson, you want to tell them the first, or not the first? Just send us.
Yeah, we want you to send us, either email us or on Facebook or on Twitter or
Anywhere.
something. Send us your 3-Bit Gamer Show bad cosplay suggestion.
Preferably
What
with all three of us.
What should the 3 bits? The 3 bits?
Yeah,
the
3 bits.
3 bitties.
3 bitties.
What should the 3 bitters be if we're going to go for cosplay?
So hit us up. Tell us what we should cosplay as at
Whoever makes us
Comic-Con.
laugh the
Whoever
most.
makes us laugh the most, we will be sending you some dope swag. So I hope you guys stick around and listen to these dumb outros because you get free
JD
stuff.
spends a lot of time on them.
Obviously. All right, 3-Bit Gamer Show is a production of Broadway Media. Mike Weiss did our theme music, and Dylan Allred produced every episode. I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Laura reminding you to embrace your inner beast.
Spencer fitting Peterson for his Deadpool cosplay.